The first signals arrived as whispers, hushed distortions at the edge of deep space monitoring arrays, like the universe itself trying to warn them. But humanity did what it always did when confronted with the unknown: it leaned closer. Telescopes tuned, scanners brightened, and the void surrendered its secret. Something vast was approaching Earth, not slowly, not cautiously, but with a predatory certainty, an armada shaped like a hunger that had crossed the stars too many times to doubt its next meal. The world reacted in a strange silence. Fear was expected, but what settled instead was a cold, collective exhale. Humanity had been preparing for something like this long before it ever had proof. Centuries of conflict had hardened it, decades of cooperation had refined it, and the quiet, stubborn ember of survival had grown into a burning, unified will. For the first time in human history, every nation looked at the same sky with the same steady gaze. Deep beneath the crust of the Pacific, far from any civilian eye, the Earth Defense Corps awakened the behemoths. Engines older than nations rumbled in the dark, their reactor cores glowing with the warmth of a rising sun. The Leviathan-class bunkers parted like ancient tombs, releasing the ships the world pretended didn't exist. Humanity had always hoped never to use them. But humanity had also learned, hope alone was never enough. Above the planet's horizon, the enemy fleet emerged in a shimmering tide of metallic arrogance. Their formation was mathematically perfect, their weapons already primed, their confidence absolute. They had done this countless times across countless worlds. They had wiped civilizations older and grander than Earth without slowing their march. To them, another sentient species was merely another footnote in their imperial archive, another extinguished star on their path to expansion. Yet, as they advanced, something in their long-trained instincts hesitated. Earth didn't shrink back. Cities didn't black out. The planet did not scream, kneel, or bargain. Instead, the skies brightened. And from the shimmering halo of the upper atmosphere, humanity's answer rose, colossal silhouettes pushing through clouds like mountains learning to fly. The alien fleet scanned them, expecting fragile transports or primitive war vessels. But the readings came back wrong, too dense, too reinforced, too heavily powered. Their analysts repeated sweeps in disbelief. Human ships were not built to deter. They were built to end wars before they began. Titan engines ignited with the roar of a newborn star, carving auroras across the sky. Every sensor on the alien bridge spiked in alarm. But it was already too late. Humanity had revealed its teeth. And the invaders, with all their history of conquest, realized they had made their first irreversible mistake. They had chosen a world that did not fear extinction, a species that did not bow, a planet with a reputation hidden beneath centuries of silence. They had chosen Earth. As the first titanic shadows crossed the clouds and the Armada finally understood what Deathworlders truly were, an ancient instinct stirred within them, one they had not felt in thousands of years. For the first time in their empire's long, merciless reign, they felt fear, and Earth smiled back. The alien fleet held its formation, but tension rippled through it like cracks spreading across glass. Their strategists scrambled, cycling through centuries of doctrine, trying to understand how a young species had built warships that defied known engineering limits. They whispered to one another across encrypted channels, confusion bordering on panic. They had expected a harvest. Instead, they had discovered predators. Humanity's Titan-class battleships breached the upper atmosphere with a slow, unnerving grace, as if they weighed nothing at all despite being the size of drifting continents. Their hulls glowed with layered shielding that shimmered like captured lightning. The aliens scanned the materials, finding composites they couldn't fully identify, energy signatures they couldn't replicate, and a thermal output that suggested reactors capable of vaporizing cities in seconds. And yet the ships remained motionless, simply waiting. Humanity didn't fire the first shot. Humanity wanted the invaders to understand exactly what line they had crossed. Across the world, people gathered on rooftops, beaches, mountain ridges, watching shapes in the sky that no fiction had ever dared describe so boldly. Children pointed. Soldiers saluted. And the old, who had seen too much, whispered that Earth had been underestimated for the final time. Far above, the aliens launched their first test volley, small, cautious, meant to probe defenses. The blast streaked through vacuum like burning spears. They hit the nearest Titan and dispersed across its shields in harmless concentric ripples. Like raindrops hitting a calm ocean. No smoke. No scorch. Not even a flicker. The alien commanders froze. Their fleet had never seen a warship absorb direct fire without retaliation. It felt like trying to shoot a mountain and watching it blink back. Then, without warning, the Titan turned its massive head-like prow toward the attackers. Not aggressively, just slowly, deliberately, as if acknowledging that the warm-up was over. Its reactor core brightened behind layers of transparent armor, casting a golden glow across the void, the alien sensors overloaded with warnings. Unidentified energy buildup. Catastrophic power concentration. Probability of survival, negligible. Humanity had a philosophy. Encoded in its deepest instincts, never start the fight, but make sure you finish it. In a single pulse of blinding radiance, the Titan fired. Not a beam. Not a missile. A gravitational lance, an experimental weapon humans had nearly destroyed themselves inventing. A spear of folded spacetime ripped through vacuum, silent and merciless, piercing the alien dreadnought at the center of their formation. For a fraction of a second, the ship elongated, stretched like a screen pulled across dimensions, then it imploded in total silence. The shockwave of distorted gravity washed across the enemy formation, cracking hulls, bending armor plating, and scattering vessels like leaves in a storm. The aliens had seen worlds burn, but never had they witnessed a weapon that rewrote the rules of reality itself. Humanity's battlefield voice echoed through every channel they could reach. Not a threat. Not a demand. Just a sentence meant to be remembered. You are the ones who attacked Earth. The aliens recoiled. Their empire had always believed itself unstoppable. But now, staring at a species that had weaponized gravity and stared them down without fear, they realized something colder than defeat. They had awakened something ancient inside humanity, something patient, something furious, something that had survived its own world and would not let it fall to invaders who saw planets as meals. Earth's titans advanced, not rushing, not chasing, but moving with the inevitability of judgment. The galaxy was about to learn why no one returned from attacking Earth. The alien empire tried to retreat, but retreat meant nothing when gravity itself bent around the machines hunting them. Their ships scattered into evasive patterns, engines screaming at full burn, leaving trails of ionized particles like frantic brushstrokes across the dark canvas of space. But the Titans pursued with a steady, terrifying calm, massive silhouettes drifting forward as though space itself carried them. Every alien vessel that turned its weapons toward Earth saw the same thing on its tactical display, a countdown of impact projections that they could never outrun. Humanity wasn't chasing them. Humanity had already calculated the paths they would take, already reshaped the battlefield to their disadvantage. As the Empire fled, they ran straight into the jaws of a trap far older than their invasion fleet. The Titans deployed the Voron gates, ancient human constructs, experimental relics built during humanity's age of desperation, powered up in silent, synchronized pulses. From orbit they appeared as vast rings of polished obsidian, each 1 kilometer wide, unfolding like enormous mechanical flowers. As their inner layers rotated, space between them rippled like disturbed water. The aliens recognized none of the physics. They only saw the outcome. Escape routes collapsed, warp signatures failed, hyperlanes turned to chaotic storms. The Empire realized, too late, that they had never cornered Earth. Earth had simply revealed the battlefield humans had designed centuries before first contact. In the center of this shrinking arena, the alien flagship executed a desperate maneuver, angling toward the far side of the system. Its hull was plated in mirrored armor, reflecting starlight like a drifting shard of silver ice. It sent a final message across its fleet: sacrifice the escorts. Protect the core. But even with a screen of ships thrown in its path, humanity's wrath moved like a tidal wave. On Earth's surface, billions watched the battle unfold through global broadcasts. They saw alien cruisers break into fragments like glass. They saw Titans swallow beams of exotic radiation that would have vaporized ordinary warships. They saw the void flicker with blue, gold, and crimson light as weapons humanity had sworn never to deploy were unleashed at last, and they saw something else, something that made the entire planet go still. The Titans weren't firing at random. They weren't indulging in destruction. Every shot, every pulse, every strike felt merciful. Calculated to end the threat quickly, without unnecessary suffering. Humanity fought with precision and restraint even under existential threat, but when the alien flagship fired a massive superweapon directly at Earth, an energy wave meant to burn the atmosphere and sterilize the biosphere, something inside the Titans changed. For a moment, the battleships fell unnaturally silent. Their reactors dimmed to a deep, ominous crimson. A low vibration resonated across orbit, as if the ships themselves were growling. Then the void ignited. A lattice of incandescent energy, shaped like branching lightning, burst outward from the lead Titan's hull. It caught the alien superweapon mid-transit, held it in place, then shattered it into harmless stardust. The alien flagship stopped. The entire Empire's fleet stopped. Even Earth held its breath. The Titan rotated, locking onto the ship that dared to fire on humanity's homeworld. Its forward aperture opened, revealing a whirling storm of condensed gravitational force, raw, violent, uncontained. Space twisted, vibrating as though it feared what would come next. The flagship tried to flee. It didn't make it a single kilometer. The Titan released the singularity burst. The blast collapsed around the alien vessel, folding it into a compressed sphere of matter no larger than a meteor. The sphere pulsed once, twice, then exploded into a silent cloud of glowing dust. The Empire's fleet froze, terrified. Humanity's message to them was now unmistakable. Attacking Earth was not war, it was suicide, and the galaxy was finally beginning to understand why no one ever returned from trying. The wreckage of the Empire's once proud armada drifted in slow, shimmering arcs across the void, illuminated by distant starlight. Silence fell, heavy, cosmic, absolute. For the first time since the invasion began, no alarms screamed, no weapons flared, no engines burned trails across the darkness. It was as if the galaxy itself paused to witness what humanity would do next, but the Titans did not stop. Their vast forms moved with the patience of ancient giants, positioning themselves in a slow formation around Earth, protective, watchful. Their armor shimmered with faint golden patterns, as though responding to something unseen. Humanity could feel it. The aliens could feel it. The war was no longer about ships and firepower. Something deeper was awakening, far beyond the edge of the battlefield. Hidden sensors captured the Empire's last contingency, a backup fleet emerging from deep slip space, crowding into reality like a tidal surge of metal and fury. These were not scouts or skirmishers. These were extinction-level assets, planet crackers, biomass harvesters, star-core disruptors. Weapons older than some civilizations, forbidden even by the Empire's own doctrines, and yet the Empire deployed them willingly, desperate to erase the humans who had humiliated them. The moment they arrived, Earth detected the gravitational tremors. Across the world, the sky darkened as the upper atmosphere shimmered with activation lines from the planetary defense grid. Humanity watched through trembling breaths. Journalists narrated with cracking voices. Children clutched blankets. Soldiers clenched rifles. Then the Titans turned, not with haste, not with panic, but with a calm, predatory certainty. Their hulls brightened, each ship channeling its reactor to full capacity. Rings of glowing energy unfurled around them, ancient systems most humans had never seen activated, artifacts from humanity's lost pre-collapse era. The Empire's reinforcements opened fire immediately, unleashing enough force to shatter moons, but the Titans didn't dodge. They didn't need to. Their shields pulsed once, and the Empire's barrage dissolved into harmless particles. The alien commanders panicked. They fired again. Harder. Faster. Every superweapon in their arsenal lit the void with catastrophic brilliance. But the Titans advanced through the storm like walking monuments of inevitability, cutting through reality as if it bent willingly for them. Then, without warning, the Titans vanished, all of them. Sensors screamed in confusion, hundreds of millions of tons of mass simply gone. The Empire frantically scanned every spectrum. Nothing. No warp signatures. No slip space disturbance. No distortion trails. Then space tore open behind the Empire's reinforcement fleet. The Titans re-emerged in total silence, positioned perfectly behind their enemy, as if the universe itself had folded to place them there. Their weapons were already primed. Their apertures glowed with white-hot gravitational light. The reinforcements tried to turn, too slow. They tried to shield, too weak. They tried to flee, too late. The Titans unleashed a synchronized gravitational cascade. A wave of invisible force rippled outward, bending light, warping matter, breaking ships apart without a single explosion. Thousands of alien vessels crumpled like paper under the weight of collapsing dimensions. Hulls folded into spirals of metallic ribbons drifting in the dark. Engines twisted into labyrinths of fractal debris. Entire dreadnoughts vanished, becoming nothing more than particles scattered across expanding rings of distorted starlight. The Empire's reinforcements, its ultimate gamble, ceased to exist in less than 60 seconds. Back on Earth, humanity felt something they hadn't felt in generations: awe, unbroken and absolute. Not fear. Not dread. But pride. They had built these giants. They had survived impossible ages. They had earned their place among the stars. And the stars trembled. Humanity didn't roar. Humanity didn't celebrate. Humanity simply watched, quiet and resolute, as the Titans scanned the final battlefield and oriented themselves toward the Empire's home territory. It was clear to every species in the galaxy, Earth was done defending. Humanity was coming. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath as the Titans aligned themselves toward the distant core of the Empire. A faint tremor passed through the void, not physical, but something older, something instinctual. Entire star systems felt it before sensors ever registered movement. Scholars would later call it the moment the prey realized it was prey. The Titans began their advance, and reality itself bent to accommodate them. Light warped around their hulls. Slipspace corridors opened uninvited. Quantum paths rearranged, allowing the dreadnoughts to cross distances that should have taken days and minutes. These ships were not bound by conventional physics. No one truly understood what ancient technology lay buried within them. Not even humanity. Inside Earth's command centers, scientists scrambled to decode the energy signatures the ships emitted. The readings made no sense. Some resembled gravitational lensing, others matched theoretical dark energy models. A few sounded eerily similar to signals detected from collapsed civilizations predating the Empire by millions of years. Humanity had inherited technology built by their ancestors from a forgotten golden age, and the Titans had only now revealed the extent of their design. Across the Empire, panic spread like wildfire. Colonies initiated evacuation protocols. Military academies broadcast final orders. Religious leaders whispered old prophecies about hunters rising from blue worlds. Billions watched skyward, praying the Titans would pass them by. But humanity was not interested in conquest. They were interested in justice, precise, surgical, unavoidable. As the Titans entered Empire territory, the first defenders moved to intercept, fortress stations large enough to eclipse continents. Their armored shells glimmered with layers of shielding capable of withstanding star-level detonations. Around them clustered legions of destroyers and cruisers, the last disciplined formations the Empire could muster. The defenders opened fire first, unleashing enough energy to vaporize an asteroid belt. Space ignited in sheets of plasma and radiation. Every fleet in range felt the shockwave. When the glare faded, the Titans were still moving, untouched, unshaken, unimpressed. Their counterattack was impossibly subtle. No bright beams. No roaring missiles. No cataclysmic shockwaves, just silence, and then the fortress stations cracked open, splitting along perfect geometric seams as if they had always been designed to fall apart. The energy that held them together simply let go. Destroyers followed, collapsing into drifting fragments like statues left too long in the rain. Shields dissolved. Engines died. Crews floated helplessly, alive but defeated. Humanity had chosen mercy. They dismantled ships, not beings. Disabled weapons, not lives. Messages flooded across the empire. Some begged for surrender, some demanded negotiation, some pleaded for understanding. And each time, Earth responded with the same calm, unwavering transmission: stand down. We seek only the architects of this war. It was a declaration that struck terror into the guilty and hope into the innocent. Because the architects, the true instigators, were known only to a few. Hidden behind layers of political manipulation, corruption, and fabricated threats, they had engineered the Empire's aggression against Earth to maintain control. They believed humanity would fold quickly, that the galaxy would rally behind a fabricated narrative of human hostility. They never imagined Earth would survive. They never imagined the Titans would awaken. They never imagined the hunted would become the hunter. As the Titans pushed deeper, they approached the Empire's core system, homeworld of the ruling council. Defensive fleets scrambled, desperately reorganizing. Energy grids lit up. Shield planets activated. Yet all preparations felt like toys arranged against a storm. In the council chambers, surrounded by towering obsidian pillars and shimmering data mirrors, the Empire's leaders argued in frantic voices. Some demanded an all-out counterstrike. Others pushed for surrender. Others still insisted the Titans must be a bluff, that no species could wield such power. But deep within the chamber, one ancient counselor sat motionless, trembling. He remembered the stories, the warnings. The whispered legends of humans, the Deathworlders, who rebuilt themselves after every extinction-level event. He knew what the Titans were. He knew what was coming. The Empire had awakened gods wearing human steel, and they were already at the gates. The Empire's core system lay stretched across the void like a jeweled crown, rings of habitats, fortress worlds, luminous orbital cities, and the colossal spire of the Council homeworld rising from a planet veiled in gold atmospheric shields. For centuries, it had stood unchallenged. Untouchable. The heart of imperial power. But as the Titans emerged from slip space, the stars themselves seemed to dim. Every sensor froze, every captain hesitated. Every citizen felt a weight, an ancient pressure, as if something primordial had stepped into the light. The 6 Titan-class dreadnoughts spread into a formation older than any star map, a pattern etched into ruins on forgotten worlds, a geometry of war that civilizations had whispered about in fear. Their hulls blazed with blue-white pulses, not like engines, but like a heartbeat shared across the fleet. The void trembled with each synchronized thrum. The Empire attempted a final stand. Dozens of supercarrier groups advanced, their hulls covered in reactive armor. Planetary defense cannons charged with solar-level energy. Orbital rings aligned railguns the size of mountain ranges. Everything the Empire had built for millennia ignited at once. The first volley unleashed a storm of energy capable of shattering a moon. When it hit the Titans, the effect was as insignificant as throwing dust at a star. The dreadnoughts absorbed the blast, light bending around them, weapons dissolving into harmless luminance. Their hulls shimmered like glaciers under morning sun, unscarred, unmoved. Then humanity answered, not with destruction, with truth. A single transmission pierced every channel, every device, every neural link across the system. The voice was calm. Steady. Human, you started this war. You lied to your people. You framed our kind. You attacked our colonies. You sought our extinction. Today, your rule ends, not by annihilation, but by revelation. And then, something impossible happened. The Titans projected a wave of energy not outward, but inward, into the data cores, archives, and memory vaults of the Empire. Not a weapon. A mirror. One that forced every citizen to witness the hidden records of corruption, manipulation, and orchestrated aggression the Council had buried. Every deceit. Every atrocity. Every engineered war. Truth spread faster than ships. faster than light. It filled the minds of billions. Crowds erupted across the empire, soldiers threw down their weapons, commanders turned their guns away from Earth's ships and toward their own leadership. The core system fractured, not from battle, but from awakening. The ruling council, cornered by the truth they had once buried, attempted a final act of desperation. They activated the Eclipse Protocol, a catastrophic failsafe designed to collapse the heart of the system in a gravitational implosion, destroying every witness. But the Titans were older than their weapons. Older than their science. A single ripple of gravitational counterforce stabilized the core star, freezing the cascade in under a second. The Council's ultimate weapon died with a whimper, their last hope gone. Humanity finally advanced. The lead Titan approached the Council spire, casting a shadow larger than the city below. Its hull unfolded, not into weapons, but into iridescent geometric wings that reflected the Empire's brightest lights. One final message echoed across the galaxy: we will not rule you, we will not conquer you, but we will never again allow fear to shape your choices. War ends when lies end. The Council surrendered, not because they were defeated, but because they were exposed, the Titans powered down, their lights dimming, their engines softening into a low cosmic hum. Humanity did not raise a flag, did not claim territory, did not seize power. They simply left behind a warning: truth is humanity's greatest weapon, and it will always find you. Across the galaxy, species looked to Earth not with fear, but with awe. For the first time, they saw humanity not as warriors, or deathworlders, or defiant rebels, but as stewards of justice, as guardians of truth, as the one species that rose from extinction after extinction, not to rule the stars, but to ensure no empire ever again tried to silence the innocent. The Titans slipped back into the dark, their lights vanishing one by one until nothing remained but starlight. And in the silent cosmic sea, one truth lingered like a heartbeat echoing across eternity: